What's good, everybody? Welcome back to, y'all know what it is, Golf and Gospel Podcast. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone who listens to the Golf and Gospel. If you're at work or you're in your car or you're at the gym, man, I sincerely say thank you. And it's not like one of those formalities where people just say like, oh, thank you for liking and subscribe. Like, man, if you're listening to this right now, I want you to understand you are a very, very good friend, and we highly appreciate you, man. The second thing I will say, a lot of you guys always like text me or Nate saying like, yo, that was cool. We are happy to hear that. But dog, say them joints in the comments, bro. Them algorithms, it helps, dog. It helps. So don't only text us. Say it in the comments if it's on Spotify, YouTube. But again, also rate us on Spotify, YouTube, do all that stuff, dog. But again, back here with Golf and Gospel, I'm Geremy Davis, former NFL player and host of Golf and Gospel. And guys, if you're trying to return back to play, that pinky hurt, that ankle hurt, and it's not healing up fast enough, you know why? Because you're not seeing the best PT in Arizona, dog. You gotta go see my dog Nate Wong, bruh, former college golfer at the University of Nebraska. But first, also, let's get to this. The giveaway winner. This guy, also, I'm gonna give him his flowers. He's a loyal friend, and he's been supporting Golf and Gospel since the genesis when I was just doing it on a camera phone. We had him on for the U.S. Open. All of his picks got eliminated, unfortunately, but he is a great friend, All-American swimmer from the University of Arizona. Hey, Noah Reed, shout out to you, dog. You won the Caddy Splash, dog, so I'll be sending that joint to you in Kansas City, Missouri. But also, other people that participated, we thank you so much. If you want a Caddy Splash, just go to caddysplash.com, type in the promo code Golf and Gospel 10, get your discount off. But, dog, Nate, let's jump straight into it, man. The PGA. Before we get into the most recent tournament, why am I blanking? On the
Rocket?
Yeah, the Rocket Classic. I got a question, man. So, I'm not trying to stir anything up, but I wonder if caddies are nervous to work with Max Homa or Collin Morikawa. And this is no shade to them at all, but both of them, dog, will be on their third caddy. Technically, I mean, you could say Collin is going to be on his, he's going to be on his third. I think Max has been through three. The person that caddied for Collin last week was his college teammate.
Like college teammate, yeah.
Yeah, what's his name? I got it right.
I forget.
Yeah, KK Lynn
But,
Bassett, something like that.
dude, that's so funny because there was a shot where he like missed a green, and then Trevor Immelman was all like,
Yeah.
"Those Cal guys, he gave him the recommendation. They're supposed to be smart."
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh
"It's a
shoot!
Cal teammate."
And Max went with the Cal too, right?
Oh yeah, they both went to Cal. So then,
Yeah, I don't know if at the same time, but yeah, they both went to Cal.
no, they were
yeah.
teammates. They were teammates at the
Oh
same time.
yeah. Oh, they're going through it. Then I don't know what's going on with Cal
Yeah.
golf, but yeah. But do you think caddies are nervous to work with Max and Collin, or do you think it's more of like I want to take on the challenge and see if I can obviously be conducive to their game?
I don't know. I just feel like it's just like what I do now as a physical therapist. It's like sometimes your plan of attack or your approach to an injury, and I guess in the golfer's case, it's like a shot, might not be the same as the player. And that's where it's got to really mesh really well. So I think like if you fail, it doesn't mean you're a bad, and it's just like sometimes if maybe I just tell myself that a lot as a physical therapist. If I fail, it's not because I suck. It's because there's a personality mismatch. But like I feel like that's like got to be the message for guys like Joe Griner. Is like, dude, you know, it's not because you stink as a caddy. Like he obviously won with JT. You know,
after
and
2 weeks.
I'm sure he had a lot to do with it. I mean, obviously JT had more to do with it, but
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure he
As
had a
all
lot to
golfers
do with
do.
it. Yeah. But yeah, I just think you really have to mesh well with these players, and that's probably why like Morikawa did well this weekend with his teammate on the bag because it was just like a good personality. Like I know you really well, and I know the kind of game, like they probably talked about how they game plan for each tournament when they were in college, and
good
his
point.
teammates probably like, well, I'm just gonna go with this approach,
Yeah, I think that's a good take, bro. I mean, I think caddies already feel that they're confident in their skill set to help. You know, if that's encourage a player, give them the right words, tell where the break is and stuff like that. It seems like picking a caddy is almost like dating per se. Like you want to find someone that meshes really well with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if there's conflict, like we know how to come to a resolution. I remember Ted said this too, man. Like Ted was talking about, like he can give Scotty all the suggestions, but if he chooses not to take it, then he doesn't take it. But there are some times
Yeah.
like Cat, they might take it. Caddy gave him the wrong suggestion. I think that's just part of the game. But yeah, both Collin and Max never said there was anything wrong with their previous caddies. I know Collin's old one was JJ Kavik, I think, and then obviously Joe Griner. But they said that great guys, great caddies, they just need something new. So, and obviously
Yeah.
with everything that Max Homa has been going through with swing changes and all this other type of stuff, maybe Joe was just used to the old Max and how he used to play versus the new Max that
Oh
he's trying to
yeah.
mold into.
Like
Maybe. But hopefully, they find other golfers to jump on too quick, man. But in reality, Joe has more wins than both Max and Collin this year. I'm just saying.
I know, dude. Like
Technically.
I mean, he just has the one, but
Yeah. Hey, that's
still, like
one more than both of them.
I know. I mean, I would be scared to caddy for them, just like knowing that they, because
Short leash.
like the thing is like you don't want to be walking on eggshells around your player if you're a caddy. I think
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd honestly be curious to see hear what Ted Scott has to say, and like dude, he's got crazy experience because he caddied for someone
Bubba.
before he caddied for Bubba,
Grant
and
Wade.
then and then I don't know, and I've tried to find like these interviews and stuff like that, but it doesn't. But Ted Scott had like a falling out with Bubba, if I remember correctly. Like I think he got fired on the course.
I think they probably got into it, of course, but I don't think it's. I think it was a mutual split up though.
Yeah, or,
I don't think
I
it's
don't,
yeah.
I mean, I can't find this video on YouTube, but there was a clip, and I saw it like a while ago, and it was like more closer when it happened. But it was like Bubba being like, "You are completely useless right now. You are completely useless. What is the point
Oh
of
wow,
having you here?"
wow,
Yeah, like
wow. Well, hey, anybody who's listening to this, man. First off, I'm Team Ted
find that
Scott.
clip.
First
Yeah,
off, but find that clip, man. That'd be crazy.
I'm pretty sure it was Ted Scott on the bag at that tournament. I'm not. I don't quote
Yeah.
me though.
Well, I will say if it was Ted on the bag and Bubba was talking to him like that, Bubba, you're gonna have to see me, bro, because Ted is a cool guy, as we all know.
I know. Well, like, and if you watch like old Ted Scott and Bubba interviews, they'll be like, "You guys get after it a lot" and stuff like that. And there's a lot of those questions. Like, anyways, I don't want to cause any rumors
Yeah,
on
for
this
sure.
golf and
Yeah,
gospel pod.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Nah, man, I think. I think that's normal. Like I said, it's like a relationship. At some point, there's gonna be
Yeah.
some conflict too. But it's just all about how do you come to resolutions in those conflicts
Yeah.
when it comes to caddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you don't want to be walking on eggshells, but I also understand like, hey, if a player kind of blows up on you, it's kind of normal because it's cutthroat. Like it's kind of like if it's like in these cooking shows. Like my best analogy is like these cooking shows. It's like these chefs get very intense because they want like tip top quality service because it's their name on that plate that goes to the customers. So a lot of these top chefs like Gordon Ramsay like are very cutthroat
Yeah,
and they'll scream in the kitchen and stuff like that. And I kind of
Yeah.
feel like in golf it's like, well, if a player screams at a caddy, I can kind of see that like, hey, this is very cutthroat. My livelihood is on the line. So is yours, but
Yeah.
like livelihood's on the line. Don't mess it up. But
yeah,
I do think like if you get yelled at enough, like you might start to be tiptoeing and walking on eggshells, and then at the same time, like as a player, you probably don't want a caddy that's apprehensive to give you sound advice. You want them to be able
Yeah.
to speak their mind. So
You don't want a yes man.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I would hate to. I don't want to say I'd hate to caddy for. If Maxwell would call me, I'd be like, "Yo, let's go." But
Yeah.
like I would be a little bit nervous and probably not be giving all my advice, or not
Yeah.
completely speaking my mind.
Yeah, I think if I was in that, obviously I'm not built to be a caddy, especially from a tour perspective. Like I have caddied on the Epson Tour, which is fun. For the homie Nicola Rupp, I just made sure I encouraged her. I kept her mind distracted. I gave her numbers on occasionally, and she had me doing math a lot because she's from Denmark, so she does everything in meters. So then she'll like do this thing in meters. She'll be like, "Hey, so what's 27 plus 13?" Because we're looking at the size of the green from the edge, like you know how the
Yeah.
green sheet. Yeah. So she'd be
Yeah.
like, "What's 27 plus 13?" I'd be like, 40. and stuff like that. So I had to play a huge part in that. Man, caddying's super fun though. But I think for them too, I'll probably be a little nervous too because it seems like everyone's on a short lease. And like again, not even not like intentional. Like obviously, we're not saying that Max Homa and Collin are bad guys, but it's like you wonder why like no one's able to hang on right now. And it's nerve wracking at this point.
Well, I think they're just going through a slump too, and they just want to
They
change.
are.
I mean, at least for Max, like they just want to change the scenery. But I also
Collin
think
is a
a
little bit
good
too because he's not even in the top 6 anymore in terms of FedEx Cup points.
is he
I don't
really?
think.
Wow.
I think he's probably like at 7 or 8.
Yeah, he's up there though. He's been playing okay. Like he's been in the running
Well,
for
let me.
a few
Yeah,
events.
yeah. Let me make sure I ain't about that, man.
No, I looked at it earlier today, and I think he's in the top 10. I think.
Yeah, he's top 10, but he's not in that automatic. Um, yeah, he's 7 now, and I say he was 7 8 because yeah,
Ryder Cup. Yeah.
yeah, Justin Thomas hopped him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this is updated June 30th. So yeah, it's
Dang.
Scotty, Xander, JJ Spawn, Russell Henley, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think good caddies can recap rounds really well. Like that's another thing. But I don't know. Like some players might not want. Like I don't want to hear about it. Like it's one of those like, I mean I don't know. But I feel like it's always helpful to recap a round. But there might be some players that might be like, yo, that entire round was an interception. So let's just forget it. You know.
Oh yeah, short-term memory. Yeah,
Short-term memory. You know.
I think maybe caddies were probably like, caddies are more so like, they're more receptive. Like, if the player wants to know a recap, okay, I'll give you a recap. But if you don't, they're like, yeah, I'm just let my player go through his routine. If he doesn't want to talk about it, he doesn't want to talk about it. But I think
That's a good point. Yeah.
I think it's always better to, in terms of in football, like we have to go back to the film and see what we did wrong, so we won't do it again.
Yeah.
But typically I know in football we had a 24-hour rule. It's like we don't complain about it. We sulk about it for 24 hours and we move on, and then we also celebrate for 24 hours and we move on too. So so don't let that be don't let that transition to the next day and stuff. But at the same time, we have to watch that film before we can move on. To see what we have to do better and also what we did good. So yeah, depends.
Yeah, and it's weird because like in golf, it's like sometimes you just hit a bad shot, but it's like other times it's like your plan for the shot was faulty. How can you change that so you don't mess? So then, like I'm trying to think of an example. Like, so one time my buddy caddied for me in a tournament, and it was just like, why did you? On one hole, I hit it like way left of the flag, and it was like a par 3. And he's like, "Why did you hit it? Or why did you hit it way left?" And I was kind of like, "I just blocked it." He goes, "Oh, okay. You weren't trying to hit it to the left side of the green because of some reason." And it was like, "No, it was just a bad shot." But it's like, well, it's good. Like, if you have a plan, it's what's not acceptable is not having a plan. Hitting a bad shot is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody hits a bad shot
for sure.
But not having a plan that's where it's faulty. Or having a bad plan.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. But let's move on to, again, the Rocket Classic, man. Shout out to Aldrich Pot Eater for getting his first victory on tour. He's been close, I think, in the Mexico tournament. He was close. He lost. He got second place. I forgot who he lost to. Yeah, he was close before,
playoff,
man.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
So on that one.
Yeah, so now it's like, dang, it's a little PTSD coming up for him. But, he obviously finished. Yeah. He finished off the job. But, yeah, 5-hole playoff. And it's funny, they said at the Rocket Classic, 3 of the last 4 have come down to either the last shot or a playoff, man. It wasn't no different for this year. Again, you had Pot Eater, Chris Kirk, and Max Grayserman, dog. So what were your thoughts looking at the playoffs, man? 5-hole playoffs is a long time.
Dude, that was a long time. I felt like it was never going to end, especially because, like, everybody birdied the par 5 and stuff. But, dude, it was crazy because it was – all 3 of them are a decade apart. Do you know that?
Yeah, Chris Kirk's old.
Yeah, Chris Kirk's 40, Max Grayserman's 30, and then Aldrich is
like
20.
21. Or 20. He's 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Max Grayserman hit the ball far. Like, he hits the ball pretty far. And on the first playoff hole, he was the
Aldrich.
Well, Aldrich hit it right, so he was further away from the hole. But I think Aldrich hit it further. But still, dude, Aldrich, he hits bombs, and he hits it. The other thing too is he spins it a lot because the camera would do this a lot. Like they would aim the camera where his ball was gonna land, and then they would like anticipate the rollout, and it would just kind of like zoom forward. But then it's like, oh wait, the ball's back there. He had like almost 3,000 RPM on some of his shots. Yeah, on his drives. Yeah. So. Yeah. And from what I know, that's really high. But
that
guy's that guy's very impressive. He hits the ball a mile, and I feel sorry for his clubs.
That's fine. He gets some
But
new ones, no matter what.
I know, right? Yeah, he's gonna be fine. I think he was a Titleist guy, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was very impressive. I honestly thought he was gonna slip it away because like the announcers were kind of jinxing it. They're like,
Well,
last
I think
time he was in the
historically,
lead
historically he
going
does
into
that.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was very impressive. He helped because he like lost the lead for a little bit, and
Hmm.
then made a few birdies to kind of come back, and then the playoff was kind of intense, and there was the whole thing with Max Grazerman and his spike, you know.
Yeah. That's the part I missed, man. Yeah, further explain what they were talking about with that spike. I mean, I know it wasn't a big deal, but it almost was presented as
Yeah.
if it was a big deal.
It was like going up to hole 18, but like what
Yeah.
happened was when he was scoring, he like got up and he clipped his spike, and then like one spike on his shoe fell off,
Uh huh.
and they just pointed the camera at his shoes when he came back out on 18 because he was like the last guy to get up to 18, and they're pointing the camera at his shoes, and then there was I don't know, I couldn't tell, like it was still white shoes. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
but like
I know.
let me ask,
Okay, go ahead.
would you change shoes if it was you, or would you just get it respiked or just go no spikes?
You know, it's funny. I feel I lost one spike so far in one of my golf shoes. I didn't fully feel a difference. Maybe because the
Yeah,
terrain was dry. Like maybe if it was like wet and I feel myself kind of losing posture
flipping.
coming out of
Yeah.
my swing, then I'd be like, "Hey, dog, we gotta switch spikes." But I think the terrain was fine, especially on Sunday. I know. I think it was Thursday and Friday they were doing lift and play. I think, or prefer lie because it was wet.
Oh, there were.
I
Oh,
think so
okay.
on Thursday and Friday, but I think when it got to Sunday, it was dry. So it all depends on how it's affecting my swing. But I guess I wouldn't know until I teed off or something, right? Um, so yeah, I think I would have been fine. And like right now, I'm still. Well, I put the spike back in the shoe, but it didn't affect me when I realized my spike was gone. At least to my
Yeah, me.
understanding, it wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah, I've lost a spike before too, and I'm like, I don't even didn't even
really
know, you
realizing.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It probably also is depending on what spike is lost to, which probably plays a
Yeah, it
huge
depends like
importance.
where you're like if it's like the spike where most of your pressure is, it's like, all right, I gotta get that one
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
exactly. But one thing when I'm watching the playoff too, man, Pot Eater, for sure he won, but he I think he could have ended it at hole 17. He had an opportunity for an eagle, which it was kind of like makeable there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
He had
missed
nine
it.
iron into that green. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, he had an opportunity to not even get into the playoff, and that's when I started to get scared for him. So I'm like, man, historically, you don't finish well. So I don't know how you're going to do in a playoff against two savvy vets. Now, again, I think Chris
Yeah.
Kirk has it. What is happening every time I do something, bro? I don't know how to turn those things off. Yeah, but
Dang,
you're
dude.
going against two savvy vets, and I'm just like, bro, you can't afford to do that. But even looking at the
Mhm.
playoff, dog, I think, dog, when I mean Grazerman was just keeping Pot Eater in, because Chris Kirk, he missed that one putt and got him eliminated, so they had to go play
Yeah.
they had to play playoff 4 and 5, just them two, Matt Grazerman and
Mhm.
Pot Eater. But Max Grazerman was just kind of like burning edges, bro. Because I'm just like, bro, you're keep because
Dude, he
Pot,
was. Yeah.
Pot Eater was never really like really scaring anybody with any putts, except I think maybe the fourth playoff. He was like, he was so close to like doing, but other
Yeah.
ones it was like that's not close at all.
Yeah,
But
and
then
he
Max,
wasn't hitting it that tight in the playoffs either, you
no,
know.
he was not pin seeking at all. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, Grazerman, you can end this now, bro. But he was just burning
He
edges,
burned a lot of
bro.
edges.
A
Yeah.
lot, bro. And I'm like, bro,
Did he
fate
burn one
right
to
now.
go into playoffs? Yeah, he burned one going into the playoffs, I think. Because he was in Pocket Eater's
Oh,
group.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah,
hit it close on
yeah,
18 on the 72nd hole.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, that was,
Oh
you know what
man,
was crazy? Was on 18, the 72nd hole, Pocket Eater hits it, his approach shot. And then they're all like, all the announcers are like, oh, if that's got the number, it's going to be good.
yeah,
and and he's all like, he goes, sit down, and then it lands like way short, and then it like zips to like the middle of the green. And I was like, dude, on a back pin, you
yeah.
did
Oh
not
yeah,
need that. He didn't even look at birdie. Like he was just like, dude, I just gotta lag this close to get offs, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I
That's
feel like
funny.
honestly, that's like the thing I would take back is like because the eagle on 17 was like he hit it really close, you know. On
Yeah,
18, I'm like, dude, I expect a closer approach than what he ended up with. You know, like
yeah,
I expected like a Matt Grazerman approach, like, hey, you're within 15 feet.
yeah.
You know, because he was like 130, I think. He was
Yeah.
it was like a gettable distance, you know.
I think they said he was contemplating. I don't know how aggressive the wind was, but they said he was contemplating. But they said he didn't just pick a club and be confident with the shot, and I think that might play the part in why.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
So on
shot wasn't.
18, like
Mm,
the stands blocked the wind, so they couldn't find it. So that's why there were like those flags. Yeah, same thing with
yeah,
was it 14 or 15, the playoff, the par 3 playoff hole? They
yeah.
had like the flags up so then people can see the wind better.
I think it was hole 15 because that's where Paiter
That's where
closed it off. Yeah,
yeah, on the
yeah,
par 3, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like the ones with the stands, they had flags up so then they can guess the wind and well, maybe that was just like a misjudgment of the wind, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's always tough when you look up and you see, the flags moving, but like it's so blocked off, like it doesn't
Yeah, you
affect
don't
this
feel anything
elevation.
down
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird, super weird. That
It's
was
hard
my
to
whole.
commit to that. Yeah.
That was my whole take with hole 16 in waste management when we talked about like which.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
which part of you is
but
hardest?
yeah, even though it's not, but like that plays a factor because you got the stands up, but then the wind's blowing up there. So it's like, how do you
Mhm.
really judge this and stuff? But at the end of the day, though, shout out to Aldrich Pot Eater getting his first victory on the PGA, man. Congrats
Yeah.
to that kid,
Way to
young guy,
go.
man. Yeah, way to go. It's hard to win on the PGA Tour. It's super hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to win a golf tournament. Period. Um,
It really
another,
is. Yeah, but
yeah. Another thing I want to talk about too is I think this encourages people who are amateur golfers or just golfers in general. So Jake Knapp, day one, was 149th in the field putting. Day two went to number one, led the course, and had the course record at 61. And it's funny
yeah, I've
because
seen.
it's hilarious because the course record just prior to that was 62, and it only lasted 24 hours. And this is the
Yeah.
second time that Jake Knapp has had the course record. He had the 59 at the Cognate, and now he had the 61 here at the Rocket Classic. But my reason for saying this to encourage the audience is when it comes to golf, and every time we kind of, at least me or maybe some people out there, when we do something wrong or like the swing feels off or the putting feels off, it's like, I got to go change something. I got to do this dramatic change. They asked Jake Knapp, what was the difference between what you did putting day one and day two? Like, what did you change? And he said, nothing. That's just simply golf. And like, it happens. So a lot of times we just gotta understand, like maybe it's just a bad
Dang.
putting day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's nothing that needs to be changed. We just gotta make sure we just go in the next day with confidence, man. I think if we see consistent, like I'm pulling it too much over and over and over, or I keep pulling my putts over and over and over, maybe then it's like, okay, we gotta try to fix this. But he said he went and changed absolutely nothing. It's just that's the
Dude, way
game.
to
That's the
go.
game we play.
That's
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
finished pretty well too.
Yeah, so that's funny because like when I was in college, if I started hitting it bad, I wouldn't be like, oh, it's because like if you practice a lot, you get tired and then you start hitting bad shots.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be like, oh, it's because I'm fatigued or like I would be like, there's something wrong with my swing, and I'd
Yeah,
always ask my assistant coach or. And if I was back in town, I would ask my swing coach here, who was Matt Trimble at the time. But
yeah,
I'd be like, "Yo, can you like take a look at my swing?" And I
Mhm.
remember both my assistant coach and Matt Trimble has told me they're like, "There's nothing wrong with your swing. Just get it out
yeah,
of your head. Just start
yeah.
to hit good shots and stuff like that." And it was as a young golfer, it was hard for me to believe. Like I was like, "You just can't find something,"
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
But
yeah, and that's what that was my problem with Victor Hovland. Like
Victor Howe, yeah,
at the time, like he's starting to play better golf now, but like I'm like, what you go
but he was
tinkering for
playing
when you're
good. Yeah,
playing great? Yeah. So I love what Jake Knapp said. He said, "There's nothing I changed. It's just simply golf." So a lot of times, guys, your swing's already good, your putting's already good. Just sometimes you're just missing a couple putts, which is it's not okay. I get in regards to the score, but like it's okay. Like you're still swinging and putting really
your
well. So
game
I
is
thought
still
that
good. Yeah,
your game is still good, man. So I love that Jake Knapp said that because I think if he would have said any other thing, we might have took note like, oh, okay, that's what he went to go do. I'm gonna start doing that now. But it's just like, hey, dog, it's golf. Golf is tough. They just weren't falling, but the next day they fell, and now he was
yeah,
number one in the field putting, man. So good for Jake Knapp, man. Other guy I want to talk about is my guy Andrew Putnam, man.
yeah.
Not
Good
a
weekend.
not a yeah, just not a really good Sunday for him, unfortunately, man.
Yeah,
But props to him too, man, because it was some big hitters out there, and my guy was only
yeah.
averaging
He
270 a
was.
drive. He was only
Was he
averaging
really only
270.
270?
I think that's what his average was. He probably hit something like 301 and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
think I think overall, definitely on PGA Tour statistically, I think his average is like 282.2 or something like that. So he wasn't really hitting
Dang.
it particularly far. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's 36. He's older. Not to say anything is wrong with 36 because Rory's
Yeah,
36
but
and he's bombing
Rory
it.
is 36. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But to Putnam's credit, bro, I would say the first 2 days he was still leading, so he was scrambling really well. But his first 2 days, green and regulation percentage was 66.7, but putt per green and regulation was 1.4, so he was leading in that department. And then after day 2, putter got hot. He had the lowest driving average. I remember looking at this up. I was like, yo, how far is Putnam
Really?
driving? Yeah, he had the lowest driving average. But like I said, Putnam, I think Putnam's obviously aware of that too. He's not going to bomb it that far. But
Yeah.
he made up for his green regulation percentage on day 3, going 15 and 18. And he played really good strategic golf. Yeah, because he was in contention. I think he was probably like,
Greens. That's it.
yeah, I think the last tee time was 11:55. He was 11:35. He just didn't have the best Sunday. It wasn't a terrible Sunday. I think he maybe finished like T8. Like I think he was 18 under. I think the win was what 21 under outside the playoffs. Well, 22 under. No, 22 under was what went to the playoffs. So he was 4 strokes back, which wasn't terrible, but he didn't have his best day. But to still want to give him his credit though, because he hung in there, man. He played really good golf, and I hope to see Putnam start trending towards maybe some victories. Like he's playing in the John Deere Classic. You know, that should definitely.
Shorter course. Is it shorter? It's short. Yeah.
It's not long though. Yeah, it's shorter.
Yeah.
At least for PGA pros, it's shorter. So I think he has another chance to go after it too. So, shout out to Andrew Putnam. Now I want to get into Will Gordon. Yeah, and you brought this up to me, man. So Will
Oh,
Gordon,
yeah, dude.
yeah. Will Gordon in round 2. Gordon was playing on a major medical exemption and needed to make the cut to retain his PGA Tour membership. He carded 3 under 69, which was amazing, and thanks to 2 clutch birdies on the final 2 holes, including sinking a 6-footer on 18. He ended up finishing with 6 under to secure the cut line. The cut line was almost about to move to 7. It didn't. So what that means by making the cut, Gordon earned, I think, .644 FedEx Cup points needed to maintain at least a conditional PGA Tour status, and that's 126th to 150th, and that kept him eligible to play through the rest of the season, bro. But more thing I want to talk about is his post-game interview that you put me aware about. So do you want to talk about that right there?
Dude, well, first off, with some of these things, it's like I think, especially as fans, like you like disassociate the person from the athlete. You know, you just like see this guy as an athlete, and they're kind of like a machine, and like, hey, go do your job. But when you see stuff like that, it kind of like dignifies athletes a little bit because you see how much it means, you know. And it reminds me of like videos of like when. Remember that was it the former Redskins? It might have been the Commanders at the time, but
Yeah.
when that special teamer like made the Pro Bowl and he got called into Ron Rivera's office and he's like, "I'm about to get cut," and
Yeah.
then Ron Rivera's like, "I'm sorry to break it to you, but," and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get cut," and he's like, "I'm sorry to break it to you, but you made the Pro Bowl, congrats," and he
Yeah.
just starts crying like breaks down right there, and
Yeah.
you know. But like, and the same thing with like Will Gordon, like he like broke down, and it was just so
Yeah.
awesome to see. But you know, I talked
Yeah.
about this. I remember I talked about this on my episode with you on the
Yeah,
Golf and
yeah, yeah.
Gospel thing. But it
Yeah,
was
go
like,
check that out. That's like early days of Golf and Gospel. Go
yeah.
check that out, guys. Yeah.
But it was just because he's talking about God's plan. It's like, dude, sometimes, you know, if we wrote the story for ourselves, we would write an awesome story, and we would write like Will Gordon, if he wrote the story for himself, would probably be #1 play. He'd be like Scotty, and he would just
Yeah.
be dominating, win everything,
No
and all
worries.
that stuff. But it's these moments where it's like, dude, you might miss the cut, you might lose your
Lose it to a
status,
core card. Yeah.
and then how does God come through for you in these moments? That's how we can bring God glory, you know. And I think it's just like God's plan for us is better than any plan that we could ever
Yeah.
write for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like that beauty in the conflict, and there's beauty in overcoming these issues. And but if we wrote the story, we wouldn't write in these issues. It would just be smooth sailing. And
And we
so
would have
hats
no
off to
reliance
Will
on the Lord
Gordon.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we would have no
yeah, no
reliance on the Lord
reliance.
either at all.
Exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's also like that's not the story for everybody. Like not everyone's gonna overcome these,
Yeah,
these
it's true.
issues, but it's like
Right.
what's the lesson? What's the beauty we can still find in some of these things, you know? But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it was just so awesome, and those are like the great stories that that fans kind of want, you know.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I was
way to
happy
go,
to see
Will.
that. Yeah, I was happy to see that too, simply because too I think Amanda Balachunas asked him, you know, what were you thinking if you didn't make the cut? And he said, man, I just wanted to trust God's plan. I know his plan is better than mine. And the thing I liked about that is he didn't let his relationship or God's timing, he didn't allow God's timing to like be affected by his earthly circumstances. Like I missed
Yeah.
the cut. Okay, well, God's not good anymore because I missed the cut. But since I made the cut, God is good. He said, even if I missed the cut, I know his plan is better than mine. But he did make the cut. He kept his tour card. But I like how it wasn't based on like the conditions of like what it's going, because we easily do that a lot, man. So it was awesome. It was an awesome thing to see that Will Gordon he's able to keep his tour card, get to play for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
because those medical exemptions don't last as long as we would like. I think Bud Colley did a good job. I think at the players securing his card for the rest of the season on a medical exemption, and now Will Gordon has done the same thing, man. So shout out to Will Gordon, man. Also shout out to him for sharing the gospel, professing the gospel
Yeah.
publicly too on CBS, man, which is just awesome. Next thing I want to get into, man, PGA missed cuts. The guys who missed the cuts at the Rocket Classic. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, Ricky Fowler, who was a defending champion, did not look good.
Yeah.
Wyndham Clark, he probably off breaking something right now. Max Homa, Cam Young, and Tom Kim. Who was the most surprising? Even though these is not really any surprising names, but like who's the most surprising out of these list of names? 'Cause these are the names that people know.
I wouldn't say most surprising about this guy, but I
Yeah,
was the most upsetting was Max Homa because
yeah,
I mean, golf's better with when a guy like Max Homa is doing well. He's a really good player. He's really talented, and
yeah,
when he contends, it just makes golf
yeah.
it's
He
just like
only
a
wants to
more
contend in
like
majors.
I know, but it's also like I remember watching Saturday, and I was all like with my dad, and like someone would hit a shot close to the hole, and then Morikawa would hit the shot close to the hole, and then I'm like, Morikawa's gonna make, that guy's gonna miss because Morikawa is like a good freaking player.
Yeah,
And then
right,
sure enough, I called it and it happens. It didn't happen every time, but I was
for
like,
sure.
Morikawa's gonna
Yeah,
make that putt because he's
yeah,
really freaking good,
yeah.
and that that like scoring kind of golf is a lot more exciting to watch. And Max
Yeah,
Homa at one point was that
was
good.
that
It was
guy?
like,
Yeah, yeah. He shot only
dude,
four
there's
under, missed the cut.
I know, and it's
Yeah,
crazy that the cut was 6 under, but like there's just some guys that can like will together a birdie. They're like, I need a birdie, I can
yeah,
make it happen.
yeah,
And obviously the better the guy is, like the higher ranked they are, usually the more ability they have to just will together a birdie.
yeah.
And Max had that. He was a he could put it together, and that's really fun golf to watch instead of like when you go into a playoff and you see guys make a bunch of pars, and it
Yeah,
goes 5 holes.
yeah. That would have been boring.
Um,
For me, man, it was most, like I said, the term surprising is used loosely here because it's almost like we're
yeah,
not surprised. But for me, man, I would say Cam Young because he's probably having the better season out of all of these guys. I think Cam
yeah,
Young is one of my dark horses too, man. So pretty disappointed to see he didn't take advantage of this week with the opportunity that was presented to him. I did kind of have Ricky Fowler too, just because he won this last year, and you
yeah.
was kind of hoping he was going to defend it too. And also interesting, and I'm not trying to start any rumors at all. We're not about that, but the tweet I sent you or the X I sent you, whatever you want to call it, it was something about how him and his caddy not like got into it, but I think Ricky wanted to go P wedge. Caddy said 9 and or vice versa, and then the shot was way short. So I don't know if there's some conflict, or something that's not meshing between them two, where it's like, will Ricky be looking for a new caddy? And again, we're not starting any rumors, man. We just
Yeah.
looking at information we saw and stuff like
Watch Joe
that. So
Griner.
Joe Griner, man, hey man, take you another job right now, man. Because
Yeah, third guy this year.
If Joe can get Ricky to win, that would be crazy. That would be
Yo, dude.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Not the,
he'd have better PR than Bryson DeChambeau. If he
yeah,
gets
yeah,
Ricky
yeah.
Fowler to win.
That would be so crazy, man. But yeah, I would say, yeah, for me, yeah, Cam Young, Ricky Fowler. I was hoping he was at least going to just contend to defend his title, but wasn't even close to even make the cut, man. So super, super concerning for these
Yeah.
guys too, especially with the golf headed to across the ocean pretty soon. But yeah, let's move on from the Rocket Classic, man. Let's go on to some quick predictions for the John Deere. Again, kind of like a middle tier tournament. You're not gonna see a lot of big names, but I like these tournaments too, man, because it's not easy to predict. You can't easily say Scotty, you can't say Xander, you can't say Rory.
Yeah, because
So
they're not in there.
they're not in it. So it makes you really showcase, like, are you really a golf head? Are you really watching the sport? Like, how deep are you into the game, man? So I don't mind starting us off, man. So we look at
Go
TPC
for it.
Deer Run. Yeah, TPC Deer Run in Illinois. Again, scoreable course. We often see the winner at 20 under or better, man. And it's super heavy birdie scoring venue. So the first person I'm going to go with, man, go with Kevin Roy. He's actually a guy that had
Oh,
the course record before Jake Knapp actually broke it
dude,
24 hours later. Yeah, yeah. So
I
I
was
had
gonna
Kevin
say I'm
Roy.
gonna pick Jake Knapp.
That's a good pick, yeah. But I'm gonna say Kevin Roy. His last 4 tournaments,
Uh-huh.
we see he's trending in the right way. Myrtle Beach Classic T54, Charles Schwab T46, RPC Canadian T18, Rocket Classic T8. So we see he's trending in the right direction.
Uh-huh.
And again, in terms of scoring average, he's ranked third. Ball striking rank and green and regulation percentage is 16. And again, like I said, he had the course record there at the Rocket Classic for 24 hours. But that just shows,
Yeah.
again, with where he's trending in these tournaments, he's moving down, which I really mean up in terms of like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
place percentage, but like his numbers are going down. So I think Kevin Roy is a good pick for this week to possibly win the John Deere Classic.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go kind of on the same token. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with Jake Knapp just because,
yeah,
especially in these birdie fests, he's like the
hmm
guy that can at least make some noise in a birdie fest. So,
yeah,
um, so I'm gonna go with him.
yeah. I think that's a solid pick too, man. It's just my
Mhm.
my fear with Jake Knapp is he kind of
Yeah, you
like
just
he'll
don't know
have
what kind of Jake Knapp is gonna show up.
yeah.
That's like the
Are you gonna get
you
record
don't
breaking Jake Knapp or like I
or like
just shot
par.
75? Yeah,
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 he's gonna
yeah.
shoot even, and then you're like, well, that didn't really help my pick, bro. But
Yeah, but
um,
again, I think tournaments like this make it interesting because like it forces the golf head to really study, the
mhm.
field and stuff. Yeah, but I think Jake Knapp's a good pick as well as Kevin Roy. I think it's a good pick. Obviously, I'm being biased towards my pick, but the next person I want to go with is Sung J M, bro. Probably one of the higher ranked guys. Oh, here goes this thing again. But again, Sung
Yeah.
J M, probably one of the higher ranked guys. He's ranked 4 in total Eagles made. If we're talking about a birdie fest, man, this guy is literally top rank in terms of making Eagles.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say he's been in the final pairing a few times.
He
So
has, he has, he hasn't
um,
capitalized though. But I think this field and this course
I
is
know.
probably
Yeah.
conducive to his game. Yeah, he's also ranked 7th in birdies. And do I want a guy getting green regs? I absolutely do want guys hitting greens, but he's ranked number 1 in hole out. So if he doesn't hit the green,
Oh
I
wow.
still have a chance for him to maybe chip in an
Just
eagle,
hole
chip in a
out.
birdie. Yeah, I have an opportunity for that, man. So I think this is a good week for Sung JM.
All right. Dude, yeah, no, he's a good pick. He's been
Yeah,
making a lot of noise this year
yeah,
on tour.
yeah,
I
yeah, for
don't know
sure.
if it's freezing, but dude, I think I'm gonna go Luke Clan again.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Just
That's
again
not.
because it's a short course. He played pretty well this week. I don't know how he did on Sunday though, so I'm just
He
kind of
So I have the same
look
pick as
that up.
you, but yeah, I'm gonna let you. I got Luke Clanton too as my pick.
But he played really well up until at least till through Saturday. How
Yeah,
did he finish?
so here it is. I guess we can both talk about this together. So
Well,
um,
he got
he shot
60.
77. He shot 77 on day 3.
Oh,
That's what
yikes,
hurt him.
bro.
Yeah, he shot 7. Yeah, he went 66 day 1, 67, then shot 77, then shot 69. So that day 3 was kind of an outlier day for him.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he has some good film or some film study or some recap that he can kind of go over. But
Well,
it's still a solid performance by him.
yeah. Well, to even further my reason for picking Luke Clanton, he finished T2 at this event last year under a sponsor exemption.
Oh,
So I
did he
think,
really?
yeah. So I think psychologically, as a young player, being back in a place where you played well, coming off a solid week at the Rocket Classic outside of Saturday, this can be some momentum that can help him get his first PGA Tour win.
Yeah.
Because like this year he's a rookie, so last year was a sponsor exemption. You show up like this, now you got a couple top 25s under your belt. Did solid last week, even though I think he finished, like I said, we
Mhm.
finished T60. We eliminate that Saturday, which again is just golf. Days like that happen, but we can eliminate that Saturday. We're talking about Luke Clanton in a different way. So
Yeah, there's
um,
still some momentum going into this weekend.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. But guys, we're not going to do any dark horses because this whole field is just filled with dark horses. But we're just going to say those are our predictions.
Yeah,
predictions.
there's gonna be some undercard guy that probably wins it that we don't
Yeah,
even know. But
absolutely. Yeah,
um,
I agree. I agree. That's funny, bro. But yeah, I want to move on to live golf. I know you said you kind of dabbled in it. I watched it pretty heavy. Um,
you did.
yes, because excuse me. Obviously, as of lately, and just truth be told, me just studying the game, I've been heavy on the Patrick Reed train, bro. And again, if y'all listen to Golf and Gospel, me and Nate talked about this Patrick Reed Ryder Cup thing way before PGA, Golf.com. If y'all can look up the news articles, look at the day they were posted, and you go back and watch our episode for last week, look when we posted it. We talked about it way before it got hot. So I'm just saying.
That's
But
true.
again,
We started the rumors. We started the
we
headline.
really did. There's probably someone out there that's like, you know what? They're not getting as many views. We can steal something from them, and people will never know. But we know y'all stole it. We know y'all
Yeah.
stole it. Yeah, but
We know it's
talking
you.
about exactly talking about Patrick Reed though, man. And I'm going to ask you this question at the end of this. Patrick Reed got to win his home state this week in a playoff, and only kept it at a one-hole playoff. He wasn't going to waste our time and go to 5 playoff holes, 3 playoff holes. So let me review his season for the people that are out there listening or that are having problems with him getting a Ryder Cup pick. So first off, let's start with the majors. T23 at the U.S. Open. Yes, he did miss the cut at the PGA Championship, but the Masters, he got a solo third. Now we move on to live.
the Masters, because there was like a moment there was like, yo, if Patrick Reed birdies like 17,
He can go to the playoff. He can go to the playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had hold out that eagle from like 140 something out. They got him. Yeah. But yeah. So Masters solo third. Now we talk about live. He got to win this week in his home state, and with all these Ryder Cup rumors again, I'm just saying he's making a case. We look at the live rankings right now. Number 1 is Joaquin Niemann. Duh. 2, Bryson DeChambeau. Duh. 3, John Rahm. Duh. But guess who's number 4? Patrick Reed, everybody.
Patrick Reed.
I'm just saying it's Patrick Reed, man. So 4 out of the 61 players on live, he is number 4. And also, Nate, you know you like a good scramble player, man. He is ranked 4th on live with a 63.82%, which would be good for the top 25 on the PGA Tour. And historically, his Ryder Cup record is 7-3-2. So I'm gonna ask you again because you didn't agree with me last time, and you can still not agree with me now. Do you think Patrick Reed deserves a vote or a captain's pick?
Yo, let me just say this. I was saying last week, I don't think Keegan Bradley will pick him, but I think if he gets picked, I think that's justified.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, like, the reason why he wouldn't get picked is nothing to do with golf. Like he's a good player, kept it to a one-hole. Who did he go in the playoff with? It was like Paul Casey.
I don't even know those other 2 guys, to be honest. But I love how he showed his veteran presence, though. He didn't like say, "I'm not gonna waste time," because he just one putted and got it over with. And it wasn't an easy one putt. It wasn't an easy one putt.
Dude, that's the guy you want on your team too. Like I hate to say it, but like, because I'm just not a Patrick Reed fan. Like I don't, dude, I know I've like doubted a lot of players on this podcast and stuff like that, more or less. By saying like, I picked this guy to not win. Yeah. But I root for everybody. But except Patrick Reed.
That's crazy. So here's my question. Question I have for you and the audience, though. Do we think that Patrick Reed can change his perception of what the audience thinks about him? Because we changed our perception of Bryson DeChambeau. Granted, guys, I know he's not Bryson DeChambeau. He's not like the fun guy, the exciting guy who's going to – and not to say Patrick Reed is bad, but he doesn't have the personality like Bryson DeChambeau. But can he change his perception like Bryson did? Because Bryson was not liked for a long time, and now everyone loves Bryson. Does Patrick Reed not get that same grace to change his perception of what we think about him?
Dude, I don't know. It's just I'm sure he could, but it would take some work. It would take some work on his part. It would take a lot more work than Bryson. And I don't know how Bryson did it, man. He just started YouTube, I guess, and you can kind of.
It's just like fun. You got to showcase his personality.
Yeah, it's just like when athletes got social media, how the media presents athletes is so different, because it's like when Deion Sanders has the chance to show himself to the public, it was just through press conferences. Yeah. When that kind of gives you a different side of Deion that you get behind the scenes, because like he's probably a lot less of a prick, because like the media is trying to get these like gotcha headlines, and he's being more standoffish. But then like on the other side, like from everything I hear, Deion is a great guy.
For sure. Yeah, same.
And same thing with like Marshawn Lynch. But so anyways, so social media has like changed how athletes can present themselves, and I think that's why Bryson being more active on it is great. I just don't know if Patrick Reed will do that, and if that'll, and how much work that requires for him to like, hey, I really gotta change
Yeah.
my image. But
I, I
I don't
think I
know,
think
man.
I think there's some things he has been doing. I mean, not as aggressive as Bryson DeChambeau and stuff, but like when he made that putt, I think he said something about his putter. I think it's the head that he used was like his daughter's putter.
Oh,
And yeah, and people love that story about he said before he put, he was like, man, we got to make one like, baby, we can do this right now. And he made it. So he was like really tribute to his daughter.
oh,
It was a very interesting thing he did. The driver that he used, he went to Golf Galaxy to go get
oh,
his.
really?
Yeah.
Just to get a driver head?
Yeah, so I think of that or a new shaft. But it's just
Oh,
like those are like fun, interesting things, But yeah, I mean, probably will take some work for people's
yeah,
perception of Patrick Reed to change.
yeah.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
I was just gonna say, like, after this weekend, though, like, you kind of have to put the off the course persona, and it's also a little bit on the course. Like, he's not the greatest to play with.
Yeah.
The rumors are
Yeah.
like he's not. He's kind of like a Phil Rivers talks trash, like
Yeah.
from what
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he's kind of like the Phil Rivers of the PGA, and
Yeah.
so it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to like him, but
Yeah.
at a certain point, you just gotta put the put the persona stuff, the off the course or on course
Yeah.
issues aside, and just be like,
Mm.
hey, he's that good of a golfer. And dude, in the Ryder Cup, you don't get 5 holes to win. You get like this hole to win the match.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like let's say if Potgieter was Aldrich was an American, it's like you're not gonna pick him over Patrick Reed based off their performances this weekend because you want
Yeah.
the guy that can like I need it now, I'm gonna finish it now
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
like hey I'm gonna take 5 holes and play this
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
finish it. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And in that case, yeah, it definitely makes especially when the competition doesn't seem as threatening. Because if he was letting those guys hang along, then it's probably like, dang, bro, like hurry up and finish. But granted,
yeah,
if he still would have won in 5 playoff holes, it's still an impressive win. But Patrick Reed didn't let it get there. But I think he's doing a good job changing his perception to us. Not as well as Bryson because he's not putting in the. This is not to discredit him. But he's not putting in the effort that Bryce is doing with like YouTube golf and elevating the
yeah,
game and stuff like that. He's just trying to show clean act, play some clean golf, play good team golf, and live. Support his teammates,
yeah.
and his interview process has been looking really clean where he's coming off as likable. But I said if I was picking for the US, I'd pick Patrick Reed. I went back. You guys look at previous episodes. I've been
I know
saying
you did say that for a
yeah,
while.
and just based off him playing golf, and I think his persona has been looking clean lately. But next, then
I will say this.
go ahead, go ahead.
Real quick, but I don't think Bryson is was trying really hard to change his persona. I think he just started to be himself, and like he's always kind of wanted to do YouTube or whatever,
Uh,
and eventually like our persona, our his reputation kind
Perception,
of
yeah,
changed, and yeah,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
Anyways,
I've had this thought, and I don't know if I'm right at all. So his caddy, Greg Bodine, Gbo, loves Jesus. And I wonder if Gbo has been witnessing to him to a degree. I can be totally wrong. Bryce can just do what you just said, or I wonder if
Mhm.
Gbo's like, man, I'm just encouraging him in the gospel. Maybe if it's not, verbatim like scripture he's telling Bryson. I wonder if he's like, what me and my buddies used to say in college. I wonder if he's using like secular scripture, like, hey dog, just love your teammates, but he's really saying love your neighbor. I wonder. I don't know though. I talked to Gbo Greg Bodine. I don't know him like that, but here and there, but I haven't talked to him in a while. But I always wonder, like, I wonder if Greg is like witnessing to him and it's like
yeah,
making Bryson curious. I don't know. I could be wrong.
gospel. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like speaking truth into someone because no matter what, like telling someone to be nice to someone, hey, try to like bury the hatchet with guys
Hmm.
like Brooks. That's like a gospel centered
Yeah.
lesson, but
Yeah.
that's
100%.
also just a great life
Moral
advice,
lessons.
you know?
Yes.
So,
Yes. I agree. Other things in live. Sergio Garcia gets an exemption for the Open. He was top five in points on live, and he barely got in over David Pugh by 2.35 points. So shout out to Sergio Garcia who's going to be playing in the Open. Also in live news, I will say this: talking about Bryson DeChambeau, should we be worried about Bryson DeChambeau from a playing perspective? And this is why I asked the question. He doesn't really dominate live, and he really didn't last year at all. But you will hope that he was be like the Scotty of Live. Like, man, every week he's scary, but he's never really scary when it comes to these Live tournaments at all. He does have the one win in Korea, which was an impressive win. Because again, it's hard to win any golf tournament. But he didn't perform that well closing at the Masters. He missed the cut at the U.S. Open. And last year, we saw on a link-style course at the Open, it didn't go well for him, and he missed the cut. So, are we worried about Bryson DeChambeau's play so far? Or are we living off the Bryson of last year?
Yeah, the Pinehurst performance, and I mean, he was still in the final pairing at the Masters.
He was.
I wonder if link style, because he wasn't that bad at Valhalla, right? Like he made the cut at Valhalla at the
U.S. Open
PGA.
last year. Oh, PGA Championship.
No,
No.
the PGA, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Honestly, yeah. He finished, I think, T2. But Scotty won
did?
by 5 strokes. Yeah, Scotty won by 5 strokes. It wasn't close.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a link style course, and like we saw him at a link style course earlier this year at the U.S. Open, and
They made the cut.
we saw what we saw.
And then last year at the Open, link style didn't make the cut. That was the only major he missed last year.
Now that you say that, but I will say this: there's a difference between like long-term worry and like short-term worry. It's like, yeah, he might not do well in the Open, but I think Bryson's going to be okay. Even if he doesn't do well even if he does or doesn't do well, I think he's going to be okay. I think I still think he's going to show up next year at the Masters and have a good performance. And next year at the PGA, I guess if it's not link style,
Yeah, there's a chance.
Wait, Bethpage Black isn't link style, I don't think.
I don't think so. For Ryder Cup, I don't think so.
Yeah.
If anyone who's watching this, fact check us, please, in the comments, because it helps the algorithm out. Again, subscribe.
Like you
Thanks.
idiots. You could just like, you idiots, Bethpage Black is totally a link style course.
yeah, say that to us, please. We're okay with that. My thing with Bryson, bro, because again, he's the face of Live, and I think we said this probably in a podcast before too, but like right now the PGA, they have more players contending in majors, but they are up in terms of major wins. So you got to hope that Liv maybe gets one if you're a Liv fan. Because when we look at the Masters, Rory won. PGA Championship, Scotty won. U.S. Open, JJ Spawn. So Liv players have one more opportunity to grab a major. And I mean, I think
Maybe
there are other people.
Yeah.
Sergio, that would be super random. In terms of his current play, not like historically.
Yeah, for sure.
But does Joaquin Neiman finally show up at a major? Does John Rahm?
Come on.
I know.
Dude, come on.
I know, bro. I know. He does. He has to grab one at some point. Or do we think John Rahm finally captures him at Open? Because I think he has 2 majors. I think one's the Open.
He won the Masters once.
And no. So you know what? I think it's the U.S. Open and the Masters.
Yeah,
he needs
I know he won the U.S. Open once. Yeah.
He needs a Open and a PGA Championship for a career Grand Slam. Because we asked that question like who we think is next, but yeah, I mean, I think yeah. So I think maybe this is a short term thing for Bryson. But right now, like he doesn't look the same as Bryson last year of this year. Still really good, but like.
Dude, but last year he was showing up in every event except for the Open.
The Open. Everyone was like, Bryson can probably win this, bro. And now this year it's just like, maybe because of Masters.
Yeah.
Well, and again, this is very debatable. This is a tug of rope argument because then you go, well, the PGA Championship, you got second. You are right. But then the U.S. Open.
Was like, yeah, but he wasn't like in it ever. Like he was never leading. Like that's like
that's because Scotty was up by so much. The only person that had a chance was John Rahm.
Well, yeah, but it's still like, if you play really well and then you accidentally end up second versus like you were first, second, and it's like, damn, I got second. Like there's a difference between like, hey, I just hit the ball around the course and hey, they gave me the second place prize money, versus like, I was in this and then I freaking got second,
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have been in the PGA Championship because again, Scotty won by, like I said, 4 or 5 strokes.
But there was like not even a moment during the weekend at least where Bryson was like,
it was wrong.
Right, this is Bryson's tournament to lose,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Great point, man. Last thing I want to talk about too in regards to Live Golf. There was a video of Bryce DeChambeau speaking about how the game of golf is ready for a change, and he wants to see it move in more of a team direction. And he knows that it's an individual sport, but why not have more team aspects to it? What do you think about that?
Dude, that like when I was in high school, that's all I wanted was like team golf because I always played better in team golf than what I did for like individuals. So like like I had a better high school career than my brother, but my brother was ranked ahead of me coming out of high school because
Hey,
he did a lot
I need
better.
I need you to comment on this, Aaron. I need to hear this, Aaron.
But he was ranked. My brother's actually top 100 player coming out of
Yeah,
high school.
you say you beat Will
Yeah,
Zalatoris too, right?
beat Will Zalatoris in a
Wow,
tournament
fun
in
fact.
Scottsdale.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's why Will Zalatoris is Aaron's favorite player because it's like if Will Zalatoris wins the Masters, my brother's like,
Aaron
"Yo,
won.
I
Aaron
beat
won. It's a
that
green
guy that
jacket.
won the Masters."
Yeah,
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 you might as well give me the jacket. So, um, no, my brother, yeah, but I always did better in like team events, and I feel like
hmm
it. I think it's like mentally like there's a bit of like a safety net. Like I can always fall back on my team, so the pressure's a little bit off. But
hmm
then it also like meant more because it's like I'm also playing for this guy, that I
yeah,
love, and
yeah,
that's kind of like another aspect of it. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, dude, I would love for there to be more teams. I would love it if there was like this team has a home base and this is their training facility, and like
yeah,
obviously they would like rent it out from like a golf course or something like that. But
yeah,
it's like, how cool would it be if there was like the Scottsdale something, the
yeah,
Scottsdale Crushers, and they rent it
yeah.
out of not Papago, but like I don't know, Whisper
I,
Rock, and it's like
yeah, yeah. I always say Wigwam, because that's the most outside of TPC champ not champions
yeah,
stadium course.
Scottsdale.
Wigwam is more of a fan friendly course where like you don't have to like hopefully you got to hop in the cart and get all the way over to like to the next hole. Like, cause like fans want to be able to like, oh, there's the next tee box right there next to this green. And
Oh yeah,
I remember a while
and
ago when
Wigwam's
Liv
cool.
had,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
multiple courses there too.
that too. But I remember when there was a live event in Tucson, one of my friends was like, it just wasn't fan friendly because trying to get to the next hole was just it just didn't make sense how the course was set up. It wasn't fan conducive. But I think courses like Wigwam out here,
Yeah, it's just not hard to get
That's Seville Golf and Country Club. I love that course down in Gilbert.
Seville.
That's a good one. Whirlwind's a good one. That's fan friendly. But yeah, but even to obviously continue to answer the question, I think there should be more team events. Like
Yeah,
a lot of us love the Zurich Classic. We love the
yeah,
Dow Championships like they have in the LPGA with the two-man team. For the most part, TGL did really well. That was a what 4 player team that people really
yeah,
enjoyed. People love the President's Cup. People love the Ryder Cup. We love team events. We understand, yeah, golf is an individual sport, but I think they should mix in more team events, not necessarily
yeah,
eliminate individual golf. I want to see Scotty go head to head with so and so, or Sung JM go head to head with Collin Morikawa. Like I want to see individual golf still, but I think they
hmm
can implement more team things in the golf. And I don't think PGA is going to do it. They probably just going to stick to the Zurich. But I
yeah,
think it's pretty cool what Liv is doing because I think he wants to also make it intriguing. Like it's going to take a long time. He says this is the beginning stage. It's going to take a while, but he said like he wants it to be like, yo, these are the Dallas Cowboys of golf, or like this is like the Yankees of golf.
dude. Yeah, that'd be so sick. Like if
Yeah.
I think like I also just thinking about it like now because it's kind of going through my head when you were talking, but it's like, dude,
Mhm.
it would be so cool if like a course had like a home field advantage and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then it's like, hey, the crowd can make noise on fourth down or something like that,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
down, like.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know, like because like having a team to root for can help you like get to know the player, and then getting to
Yeah.
know the player makes you like a fan of that player. Because I
Yeah.
think golf is kind of unique like that. Like people root for these players because of something, kind of like UFC. It's like
Mhm.
I identify with this guy because he's like this. He's a family man, and I really
Yeah.
admire that, something like that. Or
Yeah.
this guy went to FSU, and I'm a big Seminoles fan, or something like that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But it like takes a while to get to know that because if you just see some guy's name, you won't try to learn him. But if he's like, oh, this guy's on my team, well, I'm going
Yeah.
to try to get to know a little bit more about this guy. And
Yeah.
I think home field advantage would be such a interesting thing. It's like you can't play the course at all if
Yeah.
you're on the other team. But if you're the home team, you could just play
Yeah.
this
You
course
know
all
that
day.
person
Like,
very well. Yeah. I
and
think
then,
only thing that,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, but then it's like if you lose, then it'd be like, oh shoot, dude,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
did you lose?
Yeah, yeah. I think the only thing I would respect it would probably still keep the etiquette, like not talking anybody's backswing, but have more reactions. Like if they hit one down the middle, like the away team is like, boo,
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's to
Yeah,
have a
obviously,
sports
don't ruin
environment.
the game. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
ruin the game. Yeah, don't
yeah,
ruin the performance. But like,
yeah.
yeah, but if you, I don't know, try to get in their head a little bit, that's cool.
You know, it's funny too. We talked about this. I think our last episode we talked about like, man, imagine what a team event looked like here if we spoke about like how Live versus PGA team event with Phil being the captain, Tiger being the captain of the PGA team,
Dude,
like Ryder Cup style, bro. Like that would be super exciting, bro. Like to see something like that.
dude, that's what the Golf Channel needs is Phil versus Tiger, Live versus PGA, Ryder Cup style. Let's go, duke it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Put it on
yeah.
like an awesome course, like Sawgrass or something like that, or
That would be cool.
Bethpage, and it's like, yeah, go
Yeah,
go battle it out.
that would
Which tour is better?
yeah, yeah. And I would love to see that too because I know we did talk about this last week too. Like I said too, if you eliminate Scotty, like PGA is not any better than Liv if you eliminate Scotty
Oh, for sure.
because the
Yeah,
drop off between Scotty and then Rory is a huge difference.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. But let's see if in the future do we continue to see team golf um, or does it just
Or
stick to
how
what
it
it is
grows. Yeah,
or how it
yeah. Like
grows? Yeah, yeah,
how does it grow from the Live? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, let's move on here. So with the PGA headed across the, well, I guess golf. I want to say the PGA because Live golfers are going there too. But with golfers heading across the water for the British Open and the Open, which golfer are you most concerned with right now?
Dude, great question. So I looked at a couple things. I there's two golfers that come to mind.
Okay.
Wyndham Clark, number one,
Yeah.
because we all know about the kind of the outburst that he's had this year.
Yeah.
Didn't do well this weekend.
No.
He's 77 on FedEx Cup, so he's on the outside looking in going into the postseason.
Yes. Got to be
So
top 70 guys if you didn't know.
yeah, you got to be top 70 to get into the
Playoff.
FedEx St. Jude,
Yep.
and then there's the
BMW
50, yeah, 50 good in the BMW, and then
and then the
30
Tour
get in the Tour
Championship.
Championship.
Yep.
So Wyndham Clark outside looking in, and watch if he doesn't get top 70, he's gonna go to Live or something.
Yeah. Man, if we were in guys, there are no rumors about that. That's just a thought we
Yeah,
had. If that happens, bro, they might as well just put us on ESPN, dog.
dude. This what the other thing too? I just thought about because you talk about Sergio Garcia. He had an anger outburst. Remember that time he like threw his shoe or something at the
Yeah. Yeah.
Masters?
He's had a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, dude, that's the Live persona, I guess,
Yeah.
man. They got Patrick
Yeah.
Reed there too. So,
Hey, Patrick Reed, he's cleaning up. He's cleaning up, man.
uh,
I'm gonna be his defense attorney until he messes up again.
dude, like I am not hating on the golf. Like he plays great golf.
Right.
It's just I don't know. I probably
Historically,
dislike
yeah.
him. I probably root against him more than you root against Rory. So,
Yeah, good point. Good point. That's funny.
but
Wyndham
yeah.
Clark
So
is the
Wyndham Clark,
1-0.
and then Homa because he's really got to get something going this year
Yeah.
because he's on the outside looking in on lots of things: Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
FedEx Cup, and like, dude, I still think he's exempt for next year, but it's like, dude, what if his because when was the last time he won? You get 3 years exemption if you win.
It's been a minute, bro.
Yeah,
Shoot, let's
but
look right here, bro.
he won the Genesis, I think, like a couple years ago.
6-time winner. Last time he won was the Farmers Insurance in 2023. Not too bad.
Yeah, so like, so I think he'll have next year exempt, and that's it. But like, I don't know, or is it 3 years from when they win? I don't know how it works,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, like if he doesn't do well, because like the top 100 FedEx Cup rankings automatically get their cards again, full status next year,
Yep.
and he's 122. So like if his exemption ran, let's say it did run out, like he'd be in deep trouble. And
Yeah,
we all want Max Homa on the
we
PGA, you
we
know?
do, we do, we do. Yeah, I can't imagine seeing Max on the Corn Ferry.
Dude, I know. We have to watch Corn Ferry events, and he'll
God,
probably just dominate all of them, you know?
I would hope so, but I mean, think about. I mean, and I say this with total respect, but like the field at the Rocket Classic, a lot of those guys are probably younger guys that have some exemptions or like PGA
Yeah.
Tour University, like number one players.
Yeah, it didn't
And
make the cut, you know?
But Max didn't even beat them. So until Max
Yeah.
becomes Max again, Corn Ferry probably would give him a little bit of trouble. Currently, right now,
Yeah, I think currently it would. I think
maybe.
he wouldn't win, that's for sure, right? The way he's
Yeah,
playing right now, he definitely, dude. Because guys on the Corn Ferry, and I was just defending my buddy Chris P-Fish on this, but like, dude, guys on the Corn Ferry, they're having career weekends when they win, and it's just
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can have a career weekend too, and get second or third or sixth, you know, because the guy who won just shot -30, you know,
Yeah.
and the Corn Ferry is just a big birdie fest, and I think with Max, how he's playing, and like the Rocket Mortgage was a birdie fest course, and yeah, I
Yeah.
mean I don't know, maybe -4 might have made the cut at the Corn Ferry, but I've seen cuts lower than that on
Yeah.
Corn Ferry, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous, you know,
Right. And this hurts me even more because, like I said, Max Homa is my favorite golfer.
dude.
I have nothing to talk about with him because he's not playing well, and I'm not going to jump ship because he's not playing well. I'm still a Max Homa fan.
Yeah,
I just hope that he figures it out. But I think that's someone that's reasonable to worry about, along with Wyndham Clark. But we'll see if they can get like a middle to end resurgence in their game.
I
For
know. I
me,
hope.
yeah, yeah, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I hope to God, like Max Homa is one of those guys that like I don't have to bet on to root for him. I just want Max Homa to win.
Yeah,
I'm just such a
yeah.
huge fan of that guy.
Yeah, yeah. I think too the public eye and stuff. Yeah, there's what can you say bad about Homa? Nothing
Hmm.
really at all. But I would say for me, bro, mine is Xander Schauffele. Schauffele, excuse me. Yeah, he's the number three
Ooh, yeah,
golfer, official world golf rankings for sure, no question. But he's having a super down year from last year.
yeah,
Yes,
for
I get it.
sure.
He came into the season with a rib injury and stuff, and I don't know if his body's like pushing through that injury still or if it resurfaced because we see like a lot of guys like Will Zalatoris thought his back was good, but then he had to end up getting back surgery. We knew like Jordan Spieth, he has the wrist, he thought it was good, then he ended up getting wrist surgery. Not to say I don't want Xander to get rib surgery, but like
Yeah,
yeah, but I don't know if like that pain has resurfaced and he's like I'm just trying to fight through it through the season because I missed so much time in the beginning. Because the beginning you can kind of miss the Farmers Insurance, the American Express, the Century. You can miss those tournaments like that's no big deal. But now, like, you don't want to miss, the signature events. You don't want to miss when the playoffs are getting close and the majors are coming up. So, but let's look at statistically from 2024 to 2025. Strokes gained off the tee. 2024, he was ranked second. This year, currently mid-June, he's 157th. Stroke gain approach 2024, yeah, he's sixth. 2025, he was seventh. So that's the only thing that's really hasn't
held
dropped
in there.
that
Yeah,
much. He's still elite. Stroke gain around the green, 2024, 36. This year, 165th. Strokes gain putting in 2024 was 12th, 166. And then strokes gain total, second in 2024. 2025, 132nd. So there's been a huge decline in his production. Yeah, he's still making some cut. His cut streak is still active, but kind of what we said about Ludwig. It's like when he does make the cut, it's like, finish T48 something like that. He's had a couple, T12s and stuff, but like that's the only person I'm really worried for because I want to be able to defend the Open. I want to be able to defend the Open. I want the PGA to be competitive again. Like I said, majority of the time it's always Scotty, 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 which it
yeah,
should be Scotty, Scotty, Scotty. But I want to be like we know because like last year, I think before the Olympics, when we were talking about who's golfer of the year, is it Scotty or Xander? You can make
Xander.
an argument. You can make the argument.
Yeah,
A guy who has two majors and a whole bunch of like second places, or a guy who didn't win any majors, but he had like I think at the time Scotty might have had like 4 wins or something like that, and he was world
well, he
number one.
won the Masters, but yeah, and then after that, he was pretty quiet.
Yeah, oh, I'm tripping. He did win a match last year. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
tripping. But yeah, he was like really quiet. Yeah, yeah. So, but this year it's just like, well, I mean, it's in Scotty's hands. Like no, like you don't really know
yeah.
who
There's
to pick.
no.
And Rory's kind of like, again, we've talked about his identity issues maybe, and just kind of like feeling too complacent after winning the Masters because he hasn't been threatening in a long time either. Because at the beginning of the season, Rory came out like, yo, he's pushing for something. And then it just
Yeah,
died off. It just jumped off a cliff
dramatically. Yeah,
dramatically, bro.
yeah.
So,
That,
but yeah,
that's a good
mine will be
point. Yeah.
Xander. Yeah.
Yeah, it just, dude, it just you. I want golf to be interesting again, and that's kind of why I think like the Rocket Mortgage was a little bit more fun to watch than the U.S. Open. Like I was texting you all weekend, but
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
dude, it was way more fun. And I liken it to like this. Okay, a football game that's 6 to 9 is less fun to watch than a football game that's like 35 to 27.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
Yeah.
that's the same thing with like golf and the Rocket Mortgage. It's like the U.S. Open was the three
Six
to
to nine.
six,
Yeah.
yeah, Bama versus LSU back in the day,
I remember that. I remember that game. Yeah.
and then whereas the Rocket Mortgage was like, all right, we got Chiefs versus we got
The
the
Rams.
Mahomes versus Burrow, yeah, or Rams, yeah, right, like
Remember that game? Yeah,
yeah,
it was like yeah, that was a good game. This
yeah,
when golf
or
no,
like
this is when golf was on the Rams. It was a night game and they played lights out. It was like a fun game. I think the Rams ended up winning that
dude,
game.
yeah. Well, I remember there was like Goff versus Kirk Cousins, and that was a great game. Like they
Yeah.
just had just a high powered offense, and
Yeah.
it's just it's a lot more fun, especially when it's close and there's like changes in victories. But like when Scotty comes in and just hangs on to the lead all Sunday, you're like, well,
It's like Bama
turn this
versus a
off.
FC. Yeah, it's like Bama versus a FCS school.
Yeah, that game is also not fun to watch. A lot of scoring, but not fun. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
70 to 14. Yeah, that's also
Yeah.
not fun to watch. You know,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Last thing before we get into women's golf, I'm just going to talk about this real quick. The PGA Champions Tour, I had the privilege of being there at the Broadmoor in
yeah,
Colorado
dude.
Springs, man. Beautiful course. Oh, my gosh, man. Um, like I said, being there in person was amazing. But Miguel Jimenez was close to winning his fifth one this year. I think he's won majority of the PGA Champions Tour games. He gave the people a scare. He started climbing back. He got into one shot back, but he bogeyed 18th and finished with a T3, 9 under. He was 6 under actually on that Sunday, so he just started playing lights out, and it was scaring the field. He was in the pairing group before the last pairing group. The last pairing group was Padre Harrington and my guy Stewart Cink, man. And I love Stewart Cink, who I think should have been the Ryder Cup captain. And I was talking to people about this. If we look at like the Ryder Cup captains historically, they're always like, 45 and older. And Keegan's
Yeah,
only like
Keegan's
30.
young. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like, man, like Keegan didn't like pay his due to like earn that. And,
yeah,
there's rumors how like Keegan's really got picked. Keegan's having an incredible year. We're not judging his golf. He's playing amazing. He might end up playing as a captain this year.
yeah,
But people were trying to say how like they're just trying to make up for what happened last year or 2 years ago with
mm,
picking JT over him. And like, how do we make up for this? Okay, let's just vote
just let him
Keegan.
be the captain. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just like, bro, he didn't even pay his due to get there. And Stewart Cink was a vice captain in 2023, so we thought Stewart was next.
yeah,
But then also for Netflix, like who's more flashy? Like a quiet, nice guy that has a really good golf mind and Stewart Cink, or like the revenge story of Keegan, young,
yeah,
39-year-old guy. And I think this is just happening in sports, man. Like everybody's trying to go younger.
yeah.
Keegan, 39. Football coaches, oh, let's go with the
But
hot
Jay
young, go with the hot young offensive
O'Connell,
guru or
yeah,
the defensive minded guy. Yeah, as opposed to like let's get a established older vet. Because I think the way the trend is going now is like we want coaches or captains that can relate more to the players, and
yeah,
Keegan is still in that field. But besides the point, anyways, I think it should have been Stewart Cink. Maybe a biased opinion by me, but I think a lot of the golf world has Stewart Cink next up too as well. But even in
yeah,
saying that, Stewart Cink and Padre Harrington were going back and forth all day on Sunday, man. The back nine, they both shot 33 on the front nine, and I believe Patrick Harrington went bogey, gave Stewart the lead, and then Stewart went on to bogey a hole, and I think Patrick birdied a hole, and then Stewart birdied a hole, but I think hole 15 Stewart
dang,
bogeyed. Yeah, so he was down one stroke going into 18, and Stewart outdrove both of them by a long shot. And he went for it as a pro shot, and it was a nice shot, bro, but too much spin, and came back and got like to the front of the green. Pin was in the back. So Stewart ended up parring, and then Padraig Harrington ended up parring as well. So Padraig Harrington ended up winning the. It's a major for the U.S. For the PGA Tour Championship. Yeah, so he won with 11 under. Stewart ended up going 10 under for the day. It was a really, really good match, man. I hope Stewart ends up getting one in the future, man. But it was really fun to be there and see that live because I wanted to go walk around see other golfers, but I'm like, I want to go see Miguel, but I'm just like, this battle between Stewart and Padraig Harrington right now is just too close. I can't miss it. So it was cool, like getting those updates like live and stuff. But in saying that, I want to move over to women's golf because here at Golf and Gospel we do respect women's golf. Even though that post with golf.com had of Riggs from Barstool talking about how good he's doing in promoting the women's golf and stuff, I'm just like, guys, this is nothing new. This has been going on here with Golf and Gospel. I've been losing to these ladies for a long time. So essentially that post said like, man, we love what Riggs is doing with women's golf, they should allow there to be like a hater series where amateurs who look down on women's golf play against those amateurs. Now, obviously, I don't look down on women's golf, but like I've been playing women's golf the whole time promoting the sport. So golf.com, like this is nothing new. We've been doing this over here at Golf and Gospel. I've been losing to Christiana Siaska. These are mini tour. Christiana Siaska, Cecily Overby. I've been losing to Maddie McCray of the Epson Tour. I've been losing to Emma Talley. I've been losing to Amy Olsen. I've been playing against Tracy Hansen. So this is playing against women golfers and lifting up women's golf is nothing new. Just go ahead.
So I play Division I college golf. So like usually, when I go to a golf course, I'm one of the better golfers there. Yeah. And I played against Stephanie Meadow. She was ranked like 60th in the world at the time.
Yeah,
dude, she smoked me. It's just like. People don't understand, like, dude, even so, I played her home course in my defense, but it's still not like she smoked me because she shot like 68, and she was just kind of like, it was an average day, and it's like, dude, even if I played the black blue mix, it was like, dude, even if I had a great day, like I would have been lucky to have shot 68.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, these women golfers, especially the top golfers,
yeah.
like, the Nellies of the world, she can really compete. Yeah.
But and I agree. And I'm just saying respectfully, like, I know Riggs is a way bigger name than me, has way more popularity in the golf world. But, playing against women golfers and supporting women's golf is nothing new. That's been happening over here from the mini tours to the Epson tours to the NXXT tours to LPGA. So, and the only reason why I'm talking about that too, because I've seen a lot of people that I know and they know what I'm doing support that. And I'm like, why y'all supporting it when Riggs is doing it, but not when I'm doing it? And I'm not trying to get like a sap session for me, but it's just like, that just shows how like we love to look cool and celebrate the celebrity when like your peer is grinding to do this. And it's like, oh, it's not as cool unless you were a celebrity doing it. And but in saying that, moving on to women's golf again, we respect women's golf. I highly respect women's golf over here. I want to go to the Epson Tour first. I want to say I apologize to Gina Kim because each week I kept saying Grace Kim, and there's a Grace Kim on the LPGA. But when every time I announced something for the Epson Tour, I kept thinking Grace Kim in my head, but it's Gina Kim. So Gina Kim or anybody from the Epson Tour that watches this, tell Gina Kim I apologize for saying Grace Kim each time, man. But however, Jillian Hollis with career win number 4. Really coming out of nowhere on the Epson Tour. She ended up winning last week, and before this week, the 2 weeks she finished throughout the season, she has no better finish than the T40, and she has 5 cuts. So it's like, man, where did she come from? But her last 2 weeks, she finished T13 and then won this week in a playoff, getting her first victory this year on the Epson Tour. So shout out to Jillian Hollis. Absolutely, man, the UGA grad. And also, I want to say shout out to Melanie Green. She had a nice little finish too as well, and she is now the new leader for the race for the card in regards to getting your LPGA Tour card. And the LPGA Tour card goes to the top 15 on the Epson Tour, and she is now dethroning Gina Kim, who's now at 2, and Riley Smythe, who's now at 3. Now I want to talk about the LPGA's Legends Tour this weekend, presented by the Resort World Catskill. Had a nice weekend with Mariah McBride winning, shooting 69 and shooting 67. She already had 15 career wins, but she also just made it 16 win this week. So congrats to her. And now we move on to the LPGA. And Nate, you got lucky this week. Because if Lexi would have won, you'll be eating your words, dog. You'll be eating your words, dog. Oh my
You would have
gosh,
seen me
man.
do a. Actually, I would have done like a reverse. I would have done like a Skip Bayless and just like doubled down. Like I'm still right, you know. Like,
Yeah. But LPGA, they just finished the Dow Championships, which is like the Zurich on the PGA for
Yeah,
people who don't
playoff.
understand. Yeah. And that went into a playoff too, man. So congrats to Jen TM and Somi Lee for winning in the playoff. And there's both their first career wins. And
nice, congrats. There you go.
so So good for them, man. They beat Lexi, unfortunately. I still think Lexi to this day is going to get a win before Nelly. They beat Lexi and Megan Kang, man, 2 really good studs when it comes to LPGA golf. So shout out to them. But in regards to the Dow Championships, which again, the format's like Zurich Golf, it's a team event. Nate, I want to ask you this question. Give me 3 golfers you would pick as your teammate if you were playing in the Dow Championship. And here's your qualifications. 1 has to be a rookie, 1 has to be a superstar, and 1 has to be like a good player, kind of like middle tier person, which is subjective because someone might think they're a middle tier player, but they might actually be a superstar, and so on and so on. So I would love to hear your 3 picks. Yeah.
Yeah, and no offense if I say someone's a middle tier and they're like, wait.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was-
yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of these ladies have a ton of humility. So
Yeah, for sure.
But dude, the superstar I would have to go with. Dude, I don't know. I think after watching the KPMG,
Oh, yeah.
I think Minji Lee has to be
Okay.
up there.
It's a good pick.
It's just like her being so like solid and not
3-time major winner.
3-time major winner, not wavering at all, and just dude, she never let go of the lead.
No. And that's hard to do. That is hard to hold the lead a whole weekend.
She didn't make a bogey in the wind on Saturday. She made 2 bogeys on the front
Sunday.
nine
Sunday.
on Sunday, and I can't remember if she made one on the back nine or not. But just the fact that she was still able to like hit amazing shots, like in the middle of the wind, in the middle with all these nerves, I think that, and I think her being very analytical would help me as a player. Like, all right, if I'm nervous, hey, how do I? What should my plan be? And then when you have a plan, it's the nerves kind of become less noisy. So, she'd be my star right now.
Good pick.
Let's see, mid tier. I don't know. I think I want to go Kristen Gilman because I feel like I know her, even though I don't. But
I know of her.
Yeah, she's had some solid finishes. I believe she was. So she got 14th 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And she's, number 7 stroke gain around the green. So pretty solid showing. I hope she's not offended. I consider her mid tier, but
even if we say the word middle tier, these girls are amazing. Even if you're ranked last, if you're ranked last in CMN points, you are to the average amateur, you are a Nelly Quarter. So there's no offense.
People know like how good these girls are. I remember like people like commenting on like my girl Dana Fall, like on her stuff and like how she hits it or on what she was hitting into like some par 3, I think hole 9 at the U.S. Open. And it's like, dude, you just don't know. Like this girl was so good and she was such a hard worker because I practiced alongside her at Kim McDonald back in the day, and she was just grinding. And I mean, for her all her hard work to be diminished to an Instagram comment, like come on, dude, get out of here.
For sure. Trolls.
All these ladies are just, I mean, all these athletes, even on the Corn Ferry Tour, are just spectacular.
Epson Tour, 100%.
Yeah, and then I would say so. Anyways, the rookie, like I obviously, how can I go anywhere else besides Julia Lopez Ramirez?
Good pick. Yeah, had a good showing at the Women's U.S. Open, but the Sunday didn't fare her too well.
And she made the cut on the number at the KPMG.
She did.
And dude, she hits it a mile. I think has she dropped a third on driving distance, but she's up there. She's like top 5 driving
Yeah,
distance.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know.
now,
Like if you
yeah, go ahead.
if you play in a scramble and you have a girl that can hit it like close to 300, because I think she hits it
Yeah,
close to 290.
yeah,
If you play in a scramble, you have a girl that hits it 290. It's like a huge advantage.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's a good. I love that pick too, and I think you've been keen on her since the Women's U.S. Open too. I think that's a really
yeah,
good pick. Yeah. Well, for me, man, obviously, if you guys have been watching or listening to this podcast, there's no surprise who I'm picking as my superstar. Give me Malsego, bro. Fourth in
I know.
CME
Yeah.
points. Yeah, major winner, leading in Rolex LPGA Player of the Year prediction. And I've been said the whole season that she will be LPGA Golfer of the Year. It is getting tighter, though. I think she's only up by like 4 points now, but
You're letting it slip a little bit.
a little bit, man. But looking in terms of her ranking, she barely doubles, she barely bogeys. She lessens her mistakes, and that's what one thing as amateurs we got to learn how to do. Just lessen the mistakes if we want to see good scores, and that is something that Malsego does amazing. I love her actually off the tee, and her tee to green actually is just super amazing, man. So I'm a super fan of Malsego. She'll be my superstar that I'll pick to be my
Steady
partner.
Eddie.
Yep, if I had to be in the Dow Championships. The second person I would pick as like my middle tier really good player, I said she has my favorite swing on tour. Give me Lynn Grant, bro. Yeah, Lynn Grant, man. Not
She's really
necessarily.
good.
She's really good. Love her ball striking, man. Not having
She
the
hits the
best
ball
season.
so well.
So well. Short back swing, loopy swing, similar to mine. Well, I guess I'm saying something to her because she ain't resembling anything that I'm doing on the golf course. Although she's not having the best season, 11 starts, only 5 cuts made. But in the cuts she did made, 3 of those 5 were 10. And again, like I said, I want a really good ball striker. She's ranked 18th on tour in terms of ball striking, and she's top 30 in driving average with a 272, and she's fairly accurate. And unfortunately, until I learn how to use my lower body and my hips right, I'm not driving as far as her. So she will be a great person to be with in a 4-ball for sure.
Mid, she's your mid tier pick.
Yeah, mid tier. Again, guys, mid tier, they're still great. I'm just
She's
trying
low
to.
key kind of a superstar, but
Yeah. Well, she's not ranked too high in terms of CME points, so I just want to pick up
yeah.
again. She's a really good player, guys. But like, I just had to categorize it and to separate it from superstar. I didn't know what else to say. And lastly, for my rookie, bro, I saw her on the Epson Tour last year. Was a fan of her. I was a fan of her. I was a fan of Madison Young, who's a rookie on the Epson Tour.
I thought you were gonna go with Madison Young.
And no, I'm not, bro. And Madison, you my dog, bro. But I'm going with Ingrid Lindblad. Already won this year on tour, which is more than Nelly Corder has this year. FYI for you, Nate. Strokes gained putting, she's 4, and she averages around under 30 putts in a round, which for me that's good.
Wow.
You want to be under
Yeah.
30 putts in terms of golf, man.
Yeah.
And when we get to
What's her
green,
average? Do you know? Is it like 28?
I think it was like 29.7 or something like that.
That's pretty solid. Yeah.
Solid, yeah. I think she might be 4th in the Rookie of the Year race right now. But man, if I get a rookie who's already won on tour and she knows what you need to do to win, I'm going with Ingrid Lindblad, bro. And also when I did my episode with Riley Rennell on the Epson Tour, shout out to Riley. I gave her like a little game where I was like, yo, if you had to take someone's ball striking, someone off the tee, someone's playing, someone's short game, who would you pick? And one of the people she picked was Ingrid Lindblad. So I'm just like respected that, because like in reality, that's like Riley's peer. That's not like somebody like I'm looking up to. Like that's not like a Nelly, or she had mentioned like Christy Kerr. Christy Kerr's like a legend on the LPGA. She said, yo, I'm gonna go with someone who's an equal with me and I really respect their game. Give me Ingrid Lindblad, bro.
That's
So
a high compliment. Yeah. That's
it
the one
is,
where she
bro.
said like Lydia Ko short game, right?
Lady of Coast short game. Lexi Thomas. I think she said Lexi off the tee. Lexi's a strong player. She's super strong.
Yeah.
And I think she went. I forgot what she picked Christy Kerr for, but I think just mentally, like her, like Christy Kerr is feisty. Christy Kerr has over 20 wins on the LPGA, so there's obviously some qualities you wanted to take from her. But yeah, bro. I'm gonna go Ingrid Lindblad, man. So yeah, guys. So next week we'll actually have a special guest from the Epson Tour to help us break down the women's Evian, which is a major. so you
Oh,
guys can stop hearing the opinions of me and Nate. You rather get
yeah.
some more of a woman's insight who's actually on the Epson Tour, man. So you guys stay tuned for that, man. But guys, we would love to know your thoughts. If you're a golf head, who do you think is going to win the John Deere Classic? Who are you most concerned for when it comes to, guys going to play in the
The
British
Open.
Open and the Open?
Yeah.
And what do you think about our picks too for our partners in the Dow Championship, which again is like the Zurich? Do you agree? Would you pick a different LPGA player? We want to know these things. Let us know in the comments, man. Unfortunately, no giveaway this week, but look out for more of those in the future. And again, I'm Geremy Davis. This is the homie Nate Wong, best PT in Arizona, and we'll see you guys next week breaking down again the Evian, the women's major. Peace.
Peace.